Good. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. It's great to see you all here tonight. I'm Lisa Hallowell. I'm one of the members of the Radnor Township Environmental Advisory Committee or Council. And this is our latest installment of our lecture series. I don't know if you've been to some. We have a series of lectures where we try to bring information to township residents that we think will be interesting and important to you. Our next lecture after this one will be on December 5th at 6 p.m. It'll be called Wild Philly, The Extraordinary Nature of Our Backyard, featuring Michael Weilbacher, writer, naturalist, and environmental educator. So I definitely encourage you to come back out and hear that and our future lectures. We also have some scheduled for the spring. So tonight's lecture, we're going to be, it's not really so much a lecture as a question and answer session, featuring Mr. Charles Noble, who is the operations manager at Republic Services. Republic is the company that handles all of our trash and our recycling, and that's really what we're here to talk about tonight. I think township residents have some questions about the do's and don'ts of recycling. What can I recycle? What can I not? So Charles is here to answer all of your burning questions about recycling, and I will pass it to you.
Thank you, Lisa. It's like she said, my name's Charles Noble. I've been with the company 34 years. I've been recycling since 2000, so I have a little experience. I don't know it all. Recycling is ever changing. It's different now than it was back in 2000. Dual stream to now single stream and so forth, and equipment and everything that's used nowadays compared to then. So with that being said, like I said, I really wasn't planning on doing a big lecture. I kind of would just give you an overview of what happens at a MRF, and then we can talk about what shouldn't be recycled and what should be, and the fact that, there's a lot of these plants have a lot of people on them. So when people throw things in there that don't belong, we can start with needles. We can start with diapers. I mean, it's not baby diapers, it's adult diapers too. We get at least a dozen a day come through the line from people throwing them in there for whatever reason, I don't know. So, there's a lot of issues that we face daily. And like some of the things that come across our line that shouldn't be there, Christmas lights should not be in there, garden hoses should not be in there, car parts should not be in there. Sometimes it's easier for me to name the things that don't belong than it is actually that belongs, because honestly, the companies want to be green, which is a great thing. But they jump the gun sometimes on what can and what actually can be recycled. So that being said, some of the questions, we'll start with something that Lisa had sent me, bottle caps on bottles, leave them on. Because what happens is, the first thing that'll happen if they're off, our conveyors and on the sort lines and everything, they go in all kind of directions. And most of them, very few of them are actually flat. Most of them are like this. So the bottle caps will roll backwards and fall through a crack, and then they'll land on the ground and they end up in the trash. Yes?
Can you maybe walk us through what happens,
The process?
Yeah,
Okay, when
the recyclables as they get to the plant and how
when the truck comes on our property, it goes on a scale, we weigh it. It comes we have two areas that we tip material on. We have a commercial for all the businesses and office buildings and stuff like that. And then we have one side of the building that does just the residential curbside recycling. Once it dumps on the ground, we load it onto a conveyor, and that conveyor goes up the line because everything is like second story or three stories. No sorting's really done on the ground. So it goes up this first line and it gets on the first conveyor, which is called the pre-sort. And what that is that's where we try to get out everything that doesn't belong, meaning the needles, the Christmas lights, the bags, the grocery bags, anything and everything you can think about. Once it goes across that, it goes to a machine that's called an OCC screen. And what that does, that separates the cardboard. And when I say cardboard, I mean anything 12 inches or bigger cardboard. Everything smaller than that falls through, the cans, the glass, anything smaller than 12 by 12 falls through and goes up another conveyor. Cardboard then goes to the end of the line and onto the ground, and we bale it. And as I was mentioning about the change of how we recycle and the stream that came in since 2000 and now, the big thing in the last, I guess it's 4 years now, time flies, huh? Since COVID started and everybody was ordering Amazon at home and everything's coming in a little box like this, what we call it is the Amazon effect. So all this equipment that everybody's had over these years was designed for big boxes at stores, because everybody went to a store before, and it was designed for big boxes, but now, since everything's coming smaller now, it bypasses that part of the machine and it goes to another area. So once that separates the big cardboard from the rest of the material, it goes across another screen. When I say screen, I mean it's a long deck with a bunch of shafts, and it spins and it has like disc on it. And what it does is everything bigger than, and this one goes down to like 2 inches. Now we're taking everything 2 inches out, which is your glass that breaks up or anything, bottle caps, or anything like that. So when that happens, it goes to another screen. And then this screen separates the fiber, which is the paper, cardboard, anything like that, from the containers and the glass. And once that's separated, then it's pretty much divided in two separate groups. All the plastics, glass, and aluminum, and metal, and all that go to one area of the plant, and all the paper and the fiber goes to another area. And then they get separated by, let's start with the fiber. The fiber gets separated next, and what it does, it goes to another machine that takes out more cardboard. It's all the smaller cardboard that we couldn't get before. And which those are called optical sorters. And what it uses is infrared technology, and it senses where that piece of cardboard is on the belt, and it shoots air and it ejects it out. It's very interesting. If you're ever interested, go on Google and optical sorters in MERS. It's very interesting to see how they work. It's because it's a high-speed belt. I mean, it's going faster than that, and the computer knows where it's at and when to shoot the air. It's very interesting. So we just put these two new machines in to pretty much solve the Amazon effect, and took us 7 weeks to do it. We were down for 7 weeks doing that, and it was a $4 million project. And part of the reason for that is, A, to get the cardboard because it's worth more than paper is. But B is to be able to sell a better grade paper because paper needs to be sold by itself and cardboard needs to be sold by itself. And if you mix them together, you get a low grade material. So that's pretty much as far as the cardboard and mixed paper. We call it paper anymore because we really can't call it newspaper anymore, because I heard somebody talking about buying newspapers or something earlier, or getting the newspaper. They're almost non-existent now. And so it is a lot of paper, but it's mostly junk mail. All these grocery stores that still send out ads and stuff like that, coupons and stuff. So we don't call it news anymore. We call it mixed paper. Yes.
Can I ask some paper-specific
questions.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean,
What about the tape on the Amazon boxes? Does that need to come off, or does the process remove that? Does that contaminate?
no, it does not remove it. We do not remove it. The tape on Amazon is a little different than like the clear tape that like maybe UPS uses or something. I've never gotten any bad feedback from the mill saying we don't like this material. So my answer is no, it doesn't affect it.
Is it worth pulling it off if you get the small boxes? And I get a bunch of them, pulling it off, flattening the box out.
Flattening the box is very important. I guess I kind of skipped a part in there. The machine that actually separates the paper and the cardboard from the commingled material, it does it by 2D and 3D. You know, 3D is a plastic bottle, 2D is anything flat. So if a cardboard box is still has its shape, the machine's going to think it's a bottle, and it's going to go backwards into the commingle. So flat cardboard, it's best to flatten it. Break it down and flatten it. Yes,
How about a sticky label, the address label?
that's fine. Yes.
Will you just repeat it into the mic in case so they're recording, but just say the sticky tape?
Oh,
Labels.
sticky tape labels are fine. Yes. Sorry.
No, that's good.
I'll think about doing it. No, this is my first real big presentation. I do some tours with townships and stuff, and that's easy for me because I've been doing it for so long. But this is actually my first big meeting like this, so take it easy on me, please.
Like milk cartons?
What about milk cartons? Milk cartons, back in 2016, the Republic site and KOP, they partnered with the Milk Carton Council. Back in 2016, it was a 5-year program. When I got there in 20, it was just, the 5 years was just about up, 21, I guess it was up. When I got there, we had material that's been sitting for over a year because A, we couldn't collect it enough, and B, we couldn't pay somebody to take it. Is it recyclable? It's really big recyclable in Europe because that's mostly what they use. So that's a big thing there. Here in the United States, it never really picked up as far as using that and having somebody that actually does it. So it's not going to be recyclable.
What about the little plastic cap on the top?
Well, the problem with that is if you put it in your bin, it's going to end up in the trash. We're talking about the recycle cap, or the little cap, like I said, on bottles. It's best to leave them on the bottle. So, yeah, it's, unfortunately,
Forget milk cartons altogether.
those aseptic milk cartons, yes.
So the milk carton you're talking about is big white plastic ones, a gallon of milk.
It'd be the ones that have that, the coating, plastic coating on it.
Like cardboard.
It's,
Carton, right?
A carton.
right.
The gallon plastic, though.
It's
would
fine.
be recyclable, just the big jug.
Yeah, well, it's the ones that, like orange juice comes in a lot of them, a lot of the almond milks and specialty drinks come with them, in them. And it's a type of plastic on the cardboard. If you rip any piece of cardboard, if you take it and rip it, and there's fibers in it, but there's a plastic cover on each side of those fibers, it's not going to be recyclable. So that's the easiest way I call it, the tear test. You tear it, and if there's no, like a plastic film in it, or you can see, because a lot of times you tear it, you can see like the plastic will pull, and it cannot be recycled. Because what they do is when the cardboard mills, they put the, we get a bale, they send it, they take the bale, they stick it in a big vat, and they pulp it. Some kind of chemical that breaks it down into a bunch of fibers, which turns into pulp. If you have plastic mixed in there, or the pizza box, should I say, that is full of grease, it will not break back down into fiber, and it messes up their process. So that's, any cardboard that has grease on it, food stains, cannot be recycled.
Anything that's sort of out waxy, like
Yeah, waxy it either, because it won't break down.
frozen pizza,
Yeah.
anything that's shiny and waxy is not going to.
Yes.
How about the, in milk pails, the little plastic window?
I've been told it's not an issue, because I don't think there's enough of them anymore. For whatever reason, I've asked the person who sells our material several times, because, just to make sure every once in a while, and he tells me there's no issue. Now, if somebody brought in 10, 18 wheelers full of it, and I baled it all together in one bale, then it would be an issue, but it's so far in between that it's not an issue. Yes, go ahead.
And, sometimes it's collected, the recycling is collected when it's raining, and here it says it's dry, and so.
What happens when material gets wet? Is your question? Depends on how wet. Containers, glass, aluminum, metal, no big deal. It does not matter. When you get to paper and cardboard, if it's damp, it's fine. But what happens is, when you get a piece of cardboard, you get it wet, and you go to pick it up, it just pulls apart. What's going to happen is, as soon as it hits our first machine with the disc, it's just going to shred like shredded paper. And then it'll end up, there's a good chance it'll end up in the trash, because it just won't make it. It won't make it through the whole process.
What happens once you've sorted materials?
What happens when you sort it? You mean
After you've sorted?
after we sort the material, that goes into a machine called a baler. It compacts it, 3,500 psi. It depends on the material. It can weigh anywhere from 1,400 to 2,000 pounds per bale. And then we load that onto trailers and send it to whoever's buying it from us.
So it's bought.
Yes, it is bought.
Who is buying it from us these days?
It all depends on who it is. What we're selling. Aluminum, we sell to a broker, and then he cleans it up more, and then he sells it. Most of the time, it's going back to Anheuser or Coca-Cola or whoever. All the aluminum cans that we sell off, 99% are going back to make more aluminum cans. And like I said, it all depends. Buyers change up, because one buyer pays more, so it all depends. Yes?
What about glass? We keep hearing about, separate glass containers in certain townships, because that's more efficient. Can you address that?
What about what happens to glass, or how's it handled? Glass, what we do with glass is it pretty much comes out of the system on its own. You don't have to worry about separating colors or anything. Nobody, as far as I know, does that. It's a very niche market as far as glass. Currently, it goes through our system, gets on the ground. We depends on what site you're at. My site, some sites sell the aero aggregates. I don't know if y'all have heard of them. They're the ones with the whole I-95, with the special material foundation they use to get that back open. That was made out of glass, some type of glass formula. We currently, we own a landfill in Conestoga. We take it there, and what they use it for, they have two uses for it. One, they use it for cover. And by using it for cover, and I don't know all the exact details, which I should, it's kind of like a filtration. It helps filtrate the rainwater and separate. And so that when the leachate at the bottom, what they have to pump out, is cleaner. And then we also use it for road base up there. But we have asked for $400,000 next year to put in another glass system so we can be able to clean it up better and sell it to like aero aggregates and stuff like that. So that's what we do with the glass. But all the glass that comes to us gets recycled one way, whether it's an end loop or if it's reused.
When you're selling the cardboard, is that being put back into cardboard, or what's that being?
It's cardboard. It all depends on who's making it. It could be more cardboard. It could be I call it craft board. They got a lot of people use these when you're shipping stuff. They have the big pieces of flat cardboard in between stuff. But mostly it's made into more cardboard. Paper, well, mixed paper, toilet paper, insulation, stuff like that, huh? Which
Become toilet paper.
it's used for, it can be done that, yeah. The insulation they use it for, there's multiple things that happen. Yes.
We're just going to go back to glass for a second. 2 questions. Should we rinse the glasses? Like if you've got a tomato sauce jar that has mold in it, what happens if it gets tossed rather than cleaned first? Will that still get recycled, or will that kind of get?
Dirty, what happens to dirty glass? It will get recycled. But what happens when it breaks apart, or if it sits on the floor for an extended amount of time, we go through most material in like a day, just because we couldn't have the building big enough to do that. But when you get a glass bottle like that and you leave food in it, or if it's a plastic bottle, a peanut butter jar and it's got peanut butter in it, all you're doing is feeding the rats.
And what about the tops? Like if it's a glass bottom but a metal top, will the glass break and the metal can be separated?
The metal will get picked up by, depends on how big it is. If it's a little small metal, and then it's going to end up. But if it's bigger, like a big jar, I don't know, like what size. But yeah, that'll go. We have a magnet that picks up steel, so that'll get recycled. And when I say rats, there's not 100 of them running around all day long. I might get in trouble with my boss because I said that, so I'm going to do that disclaimer. It's just, it attracts rodents. In a good MRF that has a good material flow, when you walk in the building, you don't smell trash, that's what we have. But it's not like you're going into a landfill. But you can tell right away when a load comes in it's contaminated because you can smell it. Yes?
So should we take the jar, the top, the lids off the jars then?
Well, glass will break as soon as it goes into the truck. So yeah, you can take it off. Yes?
So I have a paper question. How, with single stream, how does the paper stay clean up? Can it be recycled?
How does paper stay clean up in single stream? That's a good question. It stays clean unless it gets mixed in with something with food waste. But other than that, it's, as far as like dust and dirt, and you're making me think about this question, because I don't think anybody's ever asked me that question. So I'm thinking in my mind how the process works, and I really don't see any dirty paper unless it happens to come in a load that was food in it also. So it's very rare to have paper. But we do get bags full of yard waste that come through there. We get bags full of food, rotten food. And so what happens when that bag breaks open? There is going to be some sort of contamination going on, but we're doing 9,000 tons a month, 380, 390, whatever it is, a day. It's hard, and with a small percentage, it's hard to see it. Yes?
What happens if somebody throws like a plastic bag, like a Ziploc bag, or like a plastic wrapper on something? What happens if that gets put in?
Ziploc, what happens to Ziploc bags or any kind of plastic bags? It's going to end up, if we see it, it's going in the trash. If we don't see it, it'll end up, if we can't get it off before it goes to the baler, it will end up going to the mill, and I'm assuming they throw it away.
What about the wrapping at Costco? We buy things in bulk. There's something.
Like you get a case of water and it's wrapped like that?
Exactly.
Yeah, what happens to that wrapping? That goes into the trash.
That goes in plastic bags. That can go in plastic bags at the grocery store, right?
I'm guessing, yes. Not to me. That's,
Don't recycle it.
Yes.
I mean, if you want to recycle, bring it to the grocery stores or whoever that takes it, you know, and let them deal with it, because it's just, this plastic bags are an evil to us, because the biggest thing is, well, there's two big things. One, if it's a plastic bag and we can't tell what's inside of it, we will not open it. Because that's like I said, we get needles, we get everything. We had a deer come across without a head, and there was just a body, it was rotten. So that wasn't in a bag, it was just there. But, and that's what I'd say about people, because, you know, we had to take it off. Oh, how it smelled. But bags, so we can't see what's in it, we're not gonna open it, it's going in the trash automatically. As I was saying, we're doing 9,000 tons a month. And we're a medium MRF. That's not really super. I mean, the super ones go to California, places like that. You know, they're 20, 30,000 tons a month. So we have to run. We run pretty fast. And that first conveyor belt is running fast. We can't stop it and start it to open every single bag that comes across the line. And what happens is when a bag gets across, yes, on the first screen, the bag will probably get ripped up. But then that bag will wrap around that shaft. And then when it wraps around that shaft, we have to go in there, not immediately, but in between the shifts, 3 times a day, we got to go in there, somebody's got to go in there and cut them all off the shaft. So it's not something I love bag bans. Whether I agree with it or not, I love bag bans. Yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I live in an apartment building where we have a trash concierge service, and we are instructed by the trash butler to put our recycling in a clear or blue bag. We have to go out and buy the bag. I don't do it. I drive to Havertown and deliver it. I guess my question is, are you confirming that, in fact, all of our recycling is not being recycled from this entire building?
All's a strong word, but if it's coming to me,
You're picking it up. I know it's
oh, it's our Republic does?
right next door.
Okay, okay. If it's coming, so it's coming to me then.
It's all going in the trash.
99% of it's going to go into the trash. Like I said, we just don't have time. Now, if nothing's coming across the conveyor and they see it and it's clear, they will open it. But, you know, like I said, we just can't open every single bag. Just imagine everybody in the building was full of bags that we had to open by hand.
So
It just,
within itself, where people,
when your concierge service, they ought to go over there, take it, and
yeah.
dump it in the container.
And some people do, in good conscience, they put it in without the bag, but then the concierge comes and dumps the bags in there, so the whole thing is ruined.
Right. Yes, sir.
Well, no, I'm on the township.
Of your 9,000 tons a month, how much gets recycled?
All right. Nothing's 100% accurate. So the equipment, the whole process, you lose 5 to 7% just because everything's not perfect and no machines are perfect, humans are not perfect. Yeah, 5 to 7% is lost. When I mean lost, I mean goes to the residue. And part of that 5 to 7%, we run around 13% residue for the month. So out of that 9,000, 13% of it is either, there's a percentage of that that's not recycled because the machines just aren't 100%. And then the rest of it is stuff that people throw away that should not be, or that people that throw in the recycle bin that shouldn't be there.
So 87% can be sold.
Correct. I mean, I got to pay to throw it away, so I try not to throw anything away. And it's not, we don't want to throw anything away because A, we want to make sure we're doing the right thing, and B, it costs us to landfill it. So it doesn't serve me any purpose just to throw stuff away.
But the stuff that you do throw away does go to a landfill.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Because the rest of our trash gets incinerated. Our normal trash gets incinerated.
Okay, well, my trash that comes from me goes to Conestoga or Modern Landfill. We own both of them. Yes, we do. I mean, yes.
You know those plastic shells
What happens to plastic shells that, I mean, well, are we talking about clear ones, black ones?
Like salad bar things, right? No.
They're called clamshells, actually.
Yeah, I mean, if they're clear, it depends on, we have machines that'll get the number 1 and number 5s. Um,
So we didn't get, we divided, but we never got to the plastic.
yeah, I know, we're still on the whole, on this part, but yeah, we'll get there. I got plenty of time. So yes, the issue with clamshells or bottom takeout foods is the black ones. Our conveyor belts are black. And the machine can't, technology that we have, let's put it that way, cannot see black on black. So we try to get them out by hand, but we're not always accurate on getting that out by hand. So if it's a number 1 or a number 5 and it's black, I'd still put it in there because there's a chance it might get, but I'm not guaranteeing it will. Yes? Does Radnor bring the trash trucks to me? Yes, they come straight to me. Yep.
What about broken hangers, like the hanger wires?
What happens to hangers? You talking about metal ones, plastic ones? It's a no to all of them. It's a no to all of them. No.
No, they don't get recycled?
Nope. The metal wires will get wrapped up on the shafts, and the plastic ones they'll break, and then there'll be small pieces, and so it'll be like a straw or something, and then they go to the trash. They don't make it.
Maybe dry cleaners will take the metal hangers back.
Yeah.
But your broken wire, the cardboard part's broken, right? So it's just wire.
Yeah, the wire, it'll get wrapped up or it'll get caught on the side of the conveyor, and it won't make it through the system. Yes?
My favorite topic is styrofoam. Yes, no, or you have to read the back to see what number it is?
Styrofoam at my location is a no. Because you gotta, I've never really, in my past life in Louisiana, as you can tell my accent, I came up here in 2018. I spent the first 24 years, 25, 26 years, whatever, down there, and then I moved up here. I've looked into it. It's very labor intensive. It takes a lot of styrofoam to make anything because you got to put it in the machine melts it, and it makes like a big sausage tube. So that's more of a niche if you had a big manufacturer that just had so much of it, and something like that, they might do it in-house, but no. Especially the peanuts.
I was just gonna say this.
Oh my God, it's horrible because they go everywhere. You just open in a box, they go everywhere. Imagine taking it and throwing it out, in the plant and just watch it go everywhere.
So even the styrofoam now comes with numbers on the back.
Even though it's,
It's
don't.
bad, don't.
Yes.
Don't do.
I mean, it's just like the wrap around water bottles and stuff. It might be a number 4, and we have hard plastic 4. Is it recyclable? Yes. But it's another one of those things, we could fill up this room and you might have 30 pounds. It's just so hard to deal with. And unfortunately, it's so the return is not there.
There is a place in Chalfont that does it though.
In where?
Chalfont,
Oh, okay, so.
it's a particular number, and I can't remember what number.
Oh,
Not the peanuts. They don't take the peanuts, but they take when your TV comes in, the
Yes,
styrofoam part.
yeah. There's a woman in Havertown, who was collecting for the whole
Oh,
community. She
interesting.
takes it up once a month. Good for her.
Yes, sir.
I don't do this, but I heard about it. You know beer cans?
Yes.
Some of the craft beer cans have like a plastic label around them. I've heard that can't be recycled, and somebody's supposed to peel that label off.
I have never been told what happens to beer cans or any cans that have a paper label around it or any kind of label. I have not been told to look out for it and not recycle it. I think it's a part of the, well, of course, you know, aluminum is burnt, you know, melted. So I don't know if it just melts off in the process. I can ask that question though and get an answer. But I have never come across where the buyer says you can't do that or don't include it. Speaking of aluminum, you know, cat cans, the cat food bottle, it's a different aluminum. It might be aluminum, but it's a different aluminum than aluminum cans. And we do not recycle that type of plastic. I mean, aluminum. Because we will get loads rejected. We have gotten loads rejected for having too much of the cat cans in them.
Same with dog food cans.
Unless it's real, well, that one might be more steel though, huh? Or is it? Yeah, if it's more steel, the magnet will get it. Yes, sir.
You were talking about cardboard boxes. I thought like when Radnor picks up the boxes, they compress everything.
It does, but it's a difference of, you can take a box that's not broken down, compact it, it's still not gonna be flat. It doesn't compact it enough. It's not like my baler that has 3,500 PSI that's like a cylinder that's this big on it that, you know, is made to make everything flat. It's just gonna come out, instead of being a square, it'll come up all, like you take this paper and crumble it up. It'll come out, and then it'll still be 3D and it'll actually roll back easier and go into containers. Yes.
What I don't understand is Radnor Township, they come around with the same trucks that they come around for the trash. Friday is recycling day, okay? And all the recycling goes into it, and then the big masher comes down and it squishes it all. How can you take that and get recyclable
I mean, I'm not sure how Radnor does, you know, their pickups. As far as how clean a truck is after they, you know, they run and pick up their trash and then empty it. Trucks get, well, there'll be residue, but they're pretty empty. It's not clean, dry, you know, perfectly clean and dry, but it's enough to where it doesn't affect what we receive.
But things are getting smashed, so you're getting smashed shards of glass, and smashed shards of other stuff when it comes to you. So then it goes on the conveyor belt, it's
Yeah.
already smashed.
The glass is already smashed, which is fine because when it hits a certain part of our plant, we have a glass breaker. It breaks it up even smaller, and then it goes outside to be shipped off. So we don't mind the glass being broken because we're not separating by color or anything like that. So it doesn't matter to us. Now it's, oh, go ahead.
Shredded paper. Same as.
Well, y'all got questions I don't want you to ask, huh? Just because, and I only say that because is it recyclable? Yes. If it comes in a plastic bag, this is where it gets tricky. And I hate giving people alternatives because if you put it in say a trash bag, and we can't tell what's in it, 9 out of 10 is going in the trash. But before that, when it goes in the truck and it gets smashed and crushed, if it rips and then it starts coming out, so everything that comes out, honestly, is going to the trash because it's little flakes and they just don't go anywhere but the trash. It makes it back to the line and to the trash. Now, if we got a bag and we see that it's shredded paper and the guys have time, they will grab it and put it off to the side. And then at the end of the day, we have a pile that we stack it all in, and then later in the day or the night shift, they come in and rip the bags open. And we do that, and it's a very low percentage of what we grab off of there. I mean, we have shred company trucks that come and dump, and then we bale that and sell it. So we mix that. Whatever we can grab, we mix it. But honestly, 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, when it gets ripped open in the truck from being compacted, it's going to bust open and then it just go into the landfill.
In this township, we're asking for the shredded
And like I said, if it makes it through the whole process of being picked up and made through us and goes through the first one big drum that's kind of evens out the material, so when it goes up the line, it's even. It's not big chunks and, highs and valleys. If it makes it through that, and we could see that it's shredded paper, they'll grab it and put it onto the side. But that is a very low percentage for that to happen. Because a lot of times they'll see it, they'll go to pick it up, and the whole bottom's ripped, and then the whole thing will just go up into the conveyor belt, and once that happens, it's going to the trash. It's best if, I don't know if your townships have a shred day every couple months, quarter or whatever it is. It's best to save it and bring it there. Because that's 100% going to get recycled.
Yeah. Right, is it this Saturday? This Saturday.
There you go, this Saturday.
Township website, shredded event this Saturday, and there's a little button here where you can sign up. I think it's the e-bike, you get a time slot.
Oh, wow. That seems a little complicated there to me, but that's like, do you really want to recycle this? But no.
Oh, is that, it's at the same spot? Oh, well, that's the Radnor Financial Center.
So yeah, that's, like I said, that's great that they do that. It's the best thing to do with shredded paper. So, and then let's get back to what happens to the material. So that's kind of, we talked about the fiber side, the container side, which is the 1 through 7 types of plastics, aluminum cans, metal, and then glass. Glass comes out first, and then it goes to, the first machine takes out PET bottles, number 1, Coke, water bottles, anything that's made out of a number 1. And then the next machine separates the number 2s, the HDPEs, from color and natural, because we do separate that because there is a difference in value in that. Milk jugs can be turned back into milk jugs because there's no color in them. I'm not 100% sure why milk jugs are, have no color. Most of them don't, majority of them don't. I'm assuming that's something to do with the food safety, I guess. Is that it? Okay, then no. Sounded good to me. So, and then we have another machine that does the rest, 5s. As far as the odd number stuff, which I call, 1, 2s, and 5s are the plastics that have a markable value to them. The rest, 3s, I really rarely see a 3. And that might be like a styrofoam type, I'm not sure. 4s are usually the plastic bags more than anything. They do, I don't know if Folgers coffee is big up here, but their red container is a number 2, but the lid is, the black lid that snaps on is a number 4, which I always thought that was weird, but it's a number 4. And then 5s, we have a machine that removes all the 5s. And 6 and 7s, currently right now, we do not have a home for that, unfortunately. But as you can see on here, there's a page on here about on the first page, the Polymer Center. We have one opening up in the northeast corridor in 26. And what that is we're going to take all our plastics that we generate here and send it to this center. And then they separate it by numbers. So when that happens, it will separate every single plastic by numbers, and they separate it, clean it, and they'll separate it by color, numbers. They have a place, they opened one up in Vegas last year. We got one opening up in Illinois this year, well, next month or December. And then the East Coast will be 26. What?
Is that in Reading?
Huh?
Is that gonna be in Reading, Pennsylvania?
No. It's somewhere on the East Coast. They haven't made the official announcement. I think I know where it is, but they haven't made the official announcement, so I can't say because I could be wrong. King of Prussia. It's Sullivan Boulevard. It's off of Henderson Road. So anyway, this will allow us to collect every single plastic. So when I say, like 6 and 7s, we really, and honestly, they go to the residue right now. But in a year, we'll be able to ship them off, and they'll be able to recycle them. And it's going to be easier for me to tell you just to keep putting them in there than to come back and say, oh, wait, stop now, but start later. Unfortunately, so that's why we haven't said don't put it in there. It's just like anything else, like the number 5 plastics 3 years ago, the yoga containers, some Wendy's, I want to say Wendy's, but anyway, yogurt containers, butter containers, those are mostly all 5s. 3.5 years ago, there was no market, nobody wanted it. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what changed in the world of plastics, but now everybody wants it. So that's when we spent another $400,000 to put in a machine to collect it, because it's just so hard with people, So that's pretty much what happens. There's a magnet that takes out the metal cans. Get back on what I don't want in the system. I don't want car parts in the system. We get a lot of brake rotors. We get a lot of brake pads. We get a lot of alternators. We get all kind of stuff. It's metal, yes, but it's not. We're looking for steel cans. We're not looking for pots and pans. We fill up 40-yard roll-off containers. We have 2 on site. They get hauled a couple times a week. And all that stuff that the pots, pans, metals gets put in there. So we have around 35 to 40 tons a month of metals that shouldn't be in the system.
Did you say Republic owns its 2 landfills?
Yes, and one's in Conestoga and one's in Modern, or York, PA.
The reason I ask is I'm just curious, how much does it, if you own your own, you're obviously not charging yourselves, but
No, they charge us.
how much is it? I mean, for 100,000 pounds, how,
It gets charged by the ton,
and
and it's in the 50s. I'd have to look to see what it exactly. It's between $50 and $60 that we pay
for every ton?
for every ton. Yeah. It's they hit me harder than they hit Joe Smith on the corner that brings in material. It's all intercompany, so they hit us hard. So, yes, sir.
Do you ever offer tours of your facility?
Yes and no. I can't offer tours to the public because if I did to the public, I wouldn't do anything else. And you can't have a large group. You got to keep it around 6 or 7. Just because when you walk through the plant, it's safety, a lot of safety issues, a lot of moving parts. So it's very hard to. So you have to limit to what you can do. So we do like townships. The board came. Big business, if we have a customer that has a big account with us, we'll do that or something. But yeah, unfortunately, we just don't have the know-how or the availability to do public tours open to the public. Now we've done like Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, but it's not really a big tour because we can't bring them through the building. So we have a little room. We kind of talk to them and stuff like that. But as far as full tours, no, we can't do it.
Where's your closest composting? It says you have composting facilities.
I don't have, and when they say that, I don't know if it's necessarily us. The salespeople might have like a place that he tells customers to go to and stuff, but I do not do composting.
Right,
Yeah, so I mean, it's a third party, I'm sure, and since I don't compost at my site, I don't, but I guess that's something I should know since you asked. I might do this again.
Yeah, it's saying Republic did process more than 2 billion pounds of food and yard waste, so some.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm assuming, and I say we don't have it now. Like California, they probably have them. In other states, Washington, stuff like that, West Coast. I don't know anything on the East Coast, but it doesn't mean we don't have one, our own one. And then I'm assuming they might be counting third party in that too also, so. Yes.
Last time Radnor gave we did one of these on recycling 5, 6 years ago, whenever it was, I don't know. Essentially, we were told that because of all of the problems of trying to get the materials clean, whatever it was, it all went into the incinerators. And so I, for the last 5, 6 years, however, have been going around every Thursday night like a bag lady with my bags going into people's recycling cans, pulling out the aluminum cans, because it hurts my heart that stuff goes into aluminum cans, for God's sake. And
That's
so I
the
have
best thing for the environment right there, is recycling those.
my basement has 6 boxes on the floor, and I stomp them flat, and my dog is used to it. And
Well, let me stop you there.
Yeah.
Please don't crush the aluminum cans.
Okey dokey.
When you crush them really good, and I have this, and my mom's probably going to watch this because I told her I was doing this, so she's probably going to yell at me because I bought it for her. But what happens when you crush cans, it comes to a little small disc.
Yeah.
It's skinny and small. I mean, it's not that big. It gets treated like a small piece of paper almost. It doesn't have any shape left to it. Now, as I say that, most cans do get crushed in the process of getting there, okay? But there's a better chance of a can making it through the system if it's not smashed. And-
You have solved my problem tonight, because I no longer have to do that, because I've been carting my cartons of aluminum flat cans over to Norristown Metal Recycling and, take
Right.
them there, because it hurt my heart that they were going into the,
No, we do not. I mean, everything that Radnor brings to us or any other township brings to us does not go to an incinerator. So what happens, of course, you've seen 5, 6 years ago. Of course, that was 2018, 2019. 2020, there was a big hit in like January 2020. We had issues selling mixed paper. 2008, when the China sore happened, and China stopped taking any material, which I don't blame them because the world was just dumping on them. They were dumping trash. They weren't dumping good recycled material. It happens, but like I said, there is little blimps in the ecosystem or whatever, in the business part of it that makes it hard to do sometimes. But I've never heard of aluminum cans. I mean, the price might drop, but I've never heard of anything, where they don't take it. I know Republic recycles everything that they can recycle, and the equipment allows them to recycle. We don't throw anything away just to be throwing it away. So, yeah, that's not an issue if it comes to me.
I've been free.
Got about 5 minutes. Anyone have?
Yes.
The black plastic pots that you get at plant nurseries, are those or no?
If it's a number 5s, yes and no. It's the same thing with the plastic shells that are black. The machine doesn't see them. We try to grab them out because my boss hates seeing that go into the trash. But yeah, like the different color ones, I mean, we get those. Those are recycled. The browns are, whatever. But the black ones, if it's a real big one, we pull it out in the very beginning and put it in a bin and we bail it up. If we have a chance to get it, we'll grab it and bail it. So we try to recycle it, but it's not always 100%. So I say you keep putting it in there, but yes. Yes.
This is not recycling, but I just want to make a pitch for the Buy Nothing group, because on my Buy Nothing group, people share their pots and people scoop them up, and people share their takeout, their black with plastic, and people
Yes, that would be good. Yes.
Before it hits you.
It all depends on, we have, like I said, our buyers change because, depends on the buyer, and they need the material bad, so they give us more money, so we switch up. One example is Mohawk. We sell PET bottles to, they make carpet. They make carpet out of PET bottles. There's a lot of our stuff goes brokers, so I'm not 100% sure what they're doing with it, but it's going. I could tell you like the number 2 colored plastics. A lot of that gets made into the PVC or the plastic pipes that go in the ground and stuff like that, playground equipment, stuff like that. So yeah, it just depends on what type and where. Like milk jugs usually go back to being a food grade material because it's good for that for whatever reason. I'm not sure. Yes, sir.
Do you think like the technology around sorting will get better and better? Or is it?
No, it's getting better. It changes and it changes constantly. It's every 3 to 5 years it changes. Problem is having the money. And when it changes, it's not cheaper. The equipment doesn't go down in price. It's going up and up and up. Like I said, we just spent $4 million on to put 2 machines and some more conveyor belts in there, and that was just a small drop in the whole process of the thing. MERP nowadays MERP done correctly is $30 to $35 million to do it correctly. So it's it's a big investment.
How many people are at your plant? How many employees do you have?
I have 60 employees. But that's everybody. That's management. That's me, my supervisors, the clerk, the scale clerk. We run approximately about 26 people per shift on the line. And I say on the line. 4 of those aren't on the line. They're the loader operators and forklifts. But we're 5 a.m. and then we shut down at 3:30 p.m. and then we start back up at 5 p.m. and run to 4:30. So we're not quite 24/7. Well, then we're Monday through Friday. We don't do weekends unless equipment breaks like it did this week and we got behind. So we'll work a shift on Saturday. But other than that, we're Monday through Friday.
And this is my last question, it's kind of a silly one for everyone, but have you ever had body parts come through? And I don't mean to do.
We have had, I have not in my time here, has only had animal parts. But Farmingdale, where we have a little small place, a body, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, a body came across. Yes. And actually in Delaware about a year ago, the first line, the conveyor sits kind of on top, so it drops down on it. The person's working right here and a body fell. And he, as far as I know, like I said, I'm not at that location, but I don't believe that person came back. The worker. The worker. They didn't say the word, no. The worker, it's very traumatizing. I can't even imagine seeing because by the time it got there, it was probably half decomposed and probably ripped apart. So, I'm sure it was nasty. Seeing a deer is bad enough. That's why I'm here and not a surgeon, because I can't handle that. So.
That's something you're not going to unsee again.
No, it is not.
So last question, is there any other particular, so you mentioned no Christmas lights, no diapers of any kind, plastic bags generally are a no, styrofoam's a no, anything else that comes through that you want to just
We get on the,
out there?
amazing enough, we get a lot of wood that comes through there. And I'm not talking about the commercial side. I kind of understand the commercial side because, a lot of businesses, but I'm talking about on the household side. A lot of wood comes through there.
And that won't go through with the cardboard?
No, it'll jam up the system. Hardcover books are no. If you want to rip the hardcover off and throw that away and recycle the pages, that's fine with me. The hardcover books will, on the shafts that spin, will get in between them and lock them up and cause damage. They will not, tear up. They're so strong. Uh, That's most it. I mean, it's just food waste.
What about fabrics? I mean, somebody.
Fabrics will act like a plastic bag. It'll wrap around the shafts and jam.
Yeah, and do you get fabrics, people bring?
Yes, blankets, stuff like that, sheets. Yes, we get all that. Oh, and I guess the biggest thing, and I don't know why I didn't hit on this first. Well, we can end on this. Is the lithium batteries. I don't care what you do with the rest of your recycling. Lithium batteries are not recyclable. You know, can you imagine how many computers we get come through there? And what happens is when the loader drives over the laptop, it smushes the lithium battery. As soon as it does that, it goes up. Our Camden facility had 2 fires this week. Luckily, they were able to get it out in time. I mean, we have sprinklers, but we have a machine called a fire rover. It's an infrared camera. It's detecting heat on that pile at all times. And if it senses something at a high temperature, it'll go off. And it actually has a big nozzle that'll spray a couple 100 feet. And it's a foam. And we got to have that protection because MRFs burn down very quickly. Unfortunately, especially right now when it's dry like it is, there's a lot of dust in them. And dust, you light dust, it'll go. So it's very, very, very important, no batteries. And they're so small, and that goes for toys that have the lithium batteries in them or something. They get mixed in. We drive over in the big machines that weigh 30,000 pounds. The wheel drives over them, and they ignite. And they're very hard to put out. We have just recently were able to get Arrow Aggregates, came out with a material from recycled glass. I don't know how they make it. But if you put it on there, it'll put it out and keep it out. Because a lithium battery, if you happen to have it happen at your house and you put water on it, it'll go out. And about 3 seconds later, it'll start right back up. And it can keep reigniting for 72 hours.
They just end up in landfill.
Well, whoever recycles them. In a perfect world, who recycles lithium batteries should.
Yeah, I don't even know the place.
Well, I mean, I guess Home Depot and Lowe's, they might have some program, I hope. I would think. I've never looked into it. But yeah, that's the biggest takeaway is lithium batteries as far as those.
Is that what Tesla's having?
I'm not really sure.
Because it's so terribly dangerous if there's a fire in Tesla.
That's, you trade one for the other. No fuel, but you got the batteries issue now. It's very, and I don't know what they're going to do with all these batteries in these cars. I hope they have a plan because it's going to get very hairy soon. But I mean, I like the whole idea of electric cars. Just like my place now, we put all this $4 million equipment in. We solved this problem, but now we have another problem. It caused another problem. So, it's an ever-evolving cycle of, trying to fix one thing and something else happens, so. Is that it?
Well, thank you, Mr.
No, you're welcome.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, and if, in a year from now, if I'm still around, or whoever's got my spot and you want to do kind of an update on what the recycle market is now, I'll be more than happy to come back out.
That would be awesome. Thank you so
All
much.
right, you're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
What part of Louisiana are you from?
New Orleans area?
Best friend lives in New Orleans.
Oh, and just before Betsy, there is this Saturday, recycling, anything with a plug and paper shredding.
I missed your handout, can I get it?
Huh?
I came in late, can I get your handout that you gave everybody?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, there was no more back there? Oh, there was some, but that's fine.
Thanks. I appreciate it, thanks, good job.
You probably can, but they will shred it for you.
I mean, I've got shredded paper.
Lids from bottles and things, you don't want them in the.
When you say bottle, you mean like
Or
water
cans,
bottle?
or cans, the lids that come off of cans.
Yeah, I mean, if they're big size, if they're like yay big, you can put them in there, but if they're like this, like
If they're the
baby
little
food,
ones,
like little baby food lids,
Okay, so
like this
big
no.
lids you want, okay, so I know the difference. I've been recycling since I was a little kid,
Oh, nice.
way back when
she
Scouts
has-
collected
But she only
newspapers.
collects the hard stuff.
Back in the
Sometimes people
50s.
accidentally
Is that when y'all were talking
saw
about
and she
newspapers?
freaks
'Cause I
out.
heard the
Don't
conversation
leave
about
the soft
newspapers.
Yes.
stuff. I can
So
only keep the
back in the
hard. And then
50s,
she
my
waits
father
till the
was,
truck fills up, and
read a
then
lot
she
of
goes,
papers,
"Oh,
so
where's
he
the
was
chip?"
collecting.
Did you want to,
And
you can
I'd
keep
love
these
to
if you
put
want,
some
or
in
if I
neighbors.
just, I mean, I made a bunch, I didn't know how many I was gonna do.
Yeah,
If you
I
want to
mean-
hand them out or not, I'll take
Yeah,
it.
yeah, maybe you take them, but, you know, because I don't know what I would do with them, but we have a couple extra over there, and then if we need more, I'll let you know, but
I'd
thank you
take
so
some and
much.
give them to the neighbors.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
there's still
yes,
some
she's
stack over there, you're welcome to
Okay.
take that,
Thank you.
yeah. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for coming and questions. Thank you, you did great, that was
All right.
really helpful.
I'm
It's
better
a-
at kind of talking like this and then kind of doing the
That
whole
was great,
speech.
and I think most people really want to do the right thing, and they just don't know exactly how
Now
it
we're
works,
talking, I'm
so it's
thinking, man, I
helpful.
should have said this.
Yeah, well, you know what?
When in doubt, you should throw it out. I mean, that's, you know.
Sad, but
I'll
that's
be
good to
driving home.
know, because we don't want to be messing up your machines either, you know, that's,
Just
but-
because the box says it's recyclable, you gotta really, like the diaper situation. The
yeah,
box
and
says
styrofoam,
recyclable.
right, has a number on it, doesn't mean anything, really. Well, that was great, thank you
All right,
so much,
thank you.
have a great
If you need anything,
night.
just email me.
All right,
I'm more
and
than happy
again,
to
if you
answer any
think of
questions.
anything that you want me to, you know, try to get the word out, just email me and, you know, I can try to spread the word.
Okay.
Thanks so
You're very
much.
welcome.
That was great, thank you so much.
You're welcome, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for all your
And
great questions.
Thank you for hosting.
Yeah.
I can't help but wonder though, we're the choir, right? And so how do we get this to
To
our neighbors?
everybody.
Yeah.
So they're gonna, they recorded this,
Okay.
and it will be up on the township's website. We have, there's an EAC section of the township's website that has a list of the lectures that we've had this year. So you can, you know,
Forward it to our
forward it
neighbors.
to everybody you know. And we'll try to get the word out there, and, you know, but that, I think a lot of this is word of mouth. They asked us if we wanted to have this zoomed, and I said, I don't think people need to that, but if we record it and then people can see it later, that would be great, because then, you know, people.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, you can just send it around to